The part-time MP, Jacob Rees-Mogg, has added his opinion to that of others today, and he said it's perfectly proper, for Parliament to override Supreme Court judgments, despite criticism from senior judges, despite criticism from members of Parliament. So Jacob, who was very much in favour of the Rwanda scheme, is backing Rishi Sunak's plans to introduce a new law that will declare Rwanda safe, as opposed to the judgment made by the Supreme Court, the highest court in the country, that declared Rwanda unsafe. He said that it's routine in the UK constitution for the High Court of Parliament, which is responsible for legislation, to change laws that judges had developed. Yes, it is. It's certainly the job of the Parliament to change law and to clarify law, to contradict the top courts of this country. I think is not something that is usual in Britain, and is a sign of a sort of dictatorial process. But he says that is perfectly proper constitutional process in a common law jurisdiction. Our system recognises the supremacy of Parliament representing you, the voters, and that is where the law is made. The courts rule and judge on the laws Parliament has made, so Parliament can override. Yes. Well, it's questionable. It's highly questionable whether or not Rishi Sunak is right, and whether or not Jacob Rees-Mogg is right. I personally think both of them are absolutely wrong. It will end up with a sort of ping pong backwards and forwards, and the House of Lords is almost certain to challenge this and to put this on hold until the end of the current Parliament. So the chance of this getting through is very slight. But in proposing this and putting this forward, Rishi Sunak has destroyed all claims that he may make for moral superiority, and so I don't think that he can, for example, say, oh, it's wrong to climb on a statue, oh, it's wrong to do this, oh, it's wrong to do that, this is abhorrent. How can he judge? Because if he judges this is one thing today, he may rule that is perfectly acceptable tomorrow. That is the role of a dictator. That is the role of a knee-jerk dictatorial system, and that is what Rishi Sunak is entering. And I must say, the fact that he even chose willing to go down this route, this is something that Boris Johnson may have thought of, he never voiced until the other day in the newspaper. Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak, Tweedledum and Tweedledee, both of them can be thrown out of history by the Black Crow. It's simply not is not acceptable. That's not leadership. That is tyranny. However, just because something is possible does not mean it is right. If Jacob Rees-Mogg, and I'm putting up a picture here of the First Vatican Council, and he will know exactly what I'm talking about, if the Catholic Church makes a pronouncement that the Pope can be infallible, that doesn't mean that he inevitably always is. In fact, there's been very few definitions that constitute infallible statements by the Roman Pontiff, and the exercise of infallibility is conducted only within the traditions of the Church and the authority of the general hierarchy. So a pope would only, for example, make an infallible statement based on faith or morals. The Pope famously, in Brideshead Revisited, is not going to say it is raining when it blatantly is not. In the same way, the exercise of changing a law in the UK under our non-written constitution comes with constraints. And in this particular case, I think Jacob Rees-Mogg is wrong. I think Rishi Sunak has indicated that he wishes to overstep that constraint, and Suella Braverman is urging him to do so. It's like somebody encouraging lemmings to jump off a cliff, or rather, Disney with its bulldozer behind the lemmings, forcing them off the cliff. I think that's what happened in the 1950 documentary, anyway.